Staying positive does not mean that things will turn out okay. Rather, it is knowing that you will be okay no matter how things turn out. I don't know who said that. Neither does the internet. And might I add, in my search for quotes on the internet, I've come across a huge dearth of just people writing about how misquotations abound on the internet, and you can't trust anything.
Yeah, I can't trust a meme.
Anyway. But I like this quote regardless.
I feel like I've come across this one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's our podcast, literally, in a quote.
Exactly.
Right? So, good choice.
Thanks.
Anywho.
Hello.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of
Positivity.
This is the podcast where we bring you good vibes by the spoonful.
Yeah, a little happiness to brighten your whatever.
Yeah. I am your host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan.
I'm also your host, Jacob Kahn.
Yeah. And together, we make up a pretty cool team to bring some happiness into your ears.
A little joy duo.
Yeah. Or on your screens, because this is also a video on YouTube as well, on the Miss Mary Lou channel. So you can, see a nice fire. We undecorated for Christmas.
It's very pretty
and the
still.
It is. It does seem a little naked in comparison because I go kind of ham on the mantle for the holidays.
You get all dressed up for winter, for the holidays, and then you strip down for January.
I was like, wow, there's so much less stuff in our apartment. But, so it goes. I still have fairy lights and candles on the mantle today.
Yeah.
Real candles.
I'm still drinking out of a mug with a snowflake on it.
It's still winter.
Very festive. I gotta remind myself that it's winter because here in Los Angeles, we no polar vortex here.
No, it's like 70 degrees. So for those of you dealing with a lot of snow right now,
if I didn't know
sorry.
that was happening, I just assumed that
we're sending you California sunshine. Yeah. So speaking of your mug, what kind of tea are you drinking today, Jacob?
This is actually my second cup today of this tea because I love it so much.
You've been up for longer than I.
It's true. I need the help. But this is Capital Cocoa Tea from Geeky Teas.
Love your geeky teas.
Yeah, so this is a chocolate and chocolate and chocolate and black tea. There's like 3 types of chocolate in this tea. And so it's my favorite thing ever, basically.
It's crazy. It's a really, really tasty tea. And it is based off of...
I believe that it's
Mockingjay.
Yeah.
I didn't read the books. Hunger Games?
The Hunger Games series. Well, the labels, it's extremely lavish, and it's something that the Capitol residents might be indulging in is extra chocolate.
Chocolate on chocolate on chocolate.
Which, fine. That's fine by me.
Good.
So
excellent.
And what are you drinking this morning?
I'm actually drinking something different. I can't do super, super strong sweet teas in the morning. I need it to be a little bit more like an oomph, but a little more less complex in flavor. And
you need no chocolate and no chocolate.
I need no chocolate first thing in the morning. Right. Although I do love Capital Cocoa Tea. I am actually drinking an Irish breakfast tea from Ireland today.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah. This is from the Irish Clipper Tea Company. My friend Casey, shout out to you.
Woo!
She goes on all these whirlwind adventures every year, and she, out of the goodness of her heart, just picks me up a tea wherever she is.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, whether it's Italy, London, Ireland.
We live your crazy travels vicariously through the tea that you bring.
Yes. So thank you for that.
Casey.
And this tea is just it's a perfect morning tea for me. I mean, Irish breakfast, notoriously are one of my favorite teas of all time, period. And I put just a hint of maple syrup in it. So this is going back a little ways as we jump into our first official segment.
Yeah. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being patient over the holidays while we were gone. And last week I did a solo mini-sode.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a health thing.
I'm
okay
good now. Yeah. For some reason, some of his organs decided to freak out, cause him a lot of pain, and we spent 3 days in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The organs that I still have are doing great.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So what was your self-care experiment from last time?
The last time that we did the podcast together a few weeks ago, we had a joint self-care experiment
right.
for decluttering our bedroom, which we got a good head start on at that time, and we were going to continue, and then holidays and traveling and me being
life.
sick, and so we haven't really gone back to that in a bit.
But the bedroom aside, we have continued to declutter the rest of the house.
It's becoming a habit, and I love it.
Yes, same. I literally woke up the other day and Jacob was like, I'm arranging the tea shelf. Are there any teas that like you'd want to give to people or that you want to just get rid of because they're here and you don't like them or whatever?
If you are not familiar with Mary's, and I guess some of it's mine too, but mostly Mary's tea collection, check out her YouTube channel. She's got a lot of teas.
Okay, so like
So
my main show on the Miss Mary Lou channel, if you're watching this podcast, which is where you at, my main show is Tea Time with Mary. Tea is like my job.
Which is great.
Yeah, I don't feel guilt about accumulating tea because it's a thing that I like consume and enjoy and that eventually goes away while having excellent little experiences one cup at a time. Damn, I should be a writer.
I don't feel guilt about it either. Tea is something that we have a lot of, but we use a lot of constantly.
It's not like it just sits there. It gets used.
But it is good sometimes to go in and say, I want to get a handle on even just what's here and make sure that if there's something that is getting left behind or forgotten about or that I just tried, didn't like, and forgot that I meant to get rid of, that we can just kind of declutter in that sense too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done that.
Yeah.
Even just this week, I decluttered basically all of our storage, our bathroom storage, our hallway storage, our like glassware storage. We did kitchen decluttering.
Yeah.
So like we haven't necessarily tackled that ominous desk in our bedroom yet, but we have made a lot of progress on the house and it feels so good.
It does, especially if like us, you spend a lot of time in that living space. It feels really good to have the organized extra things you use space set up.
Exactly. So. It feels really good. If you haven't tried, even just like set aside 15 minutes, go through your underwear drawer, sock drawer, get rid of all the stuff with holes. Like, it feels good.
Yeah, if you do this, let us know how it goes and I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send us a thing.
And I have more content coming about this topic, actually, soon. I filmed a collab this week. That was really fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much, but it is about, like, kind of decluttering for your mental sake with a friend of mine. So I'm very excited about that. So, Jacob, what have you been doing for yourself as your self-care experiment this week?
Yes. This week, now I've been taking a practice of yours and really trying to implement it lately, which is and this is in part because I have sort of stopped drinking coffee for the time being. I also enjoy this process with coffee, but I've been making tea every day regularly as a part of my just schedule, and I've been really taking time to enjoy the process and to live in that as well. When I was in the hospital for a few days, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything for a while. And when they
not even ice chips,
no water, no ice, no nothing.
They gave you little like mint flavored foam swabs, to like
they were
put in your mouth. But
they were preparing in case they needed to do surgery, which they didn't. That they just wanted everything to be all out of my system, which is sensible. But it was hard. And when I finally was able to have food again, one of the first things that I was brought was a cup of tea, which was fantastic. I was ecstatic.
Lemon tea, actually. That's one of Jacob's favorites.
Yeah. And it was gone in a heartbeat. And I was a little sad. Because it was just like they brought me the hot water. They brought me the tea bag. I put them together. A minute later, I drank it and it was gone. And I just missed the whole... You were
also starved.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I'm not complaining about finally having gotten food, but I realized that part of what I had been missing about the experience of tea was the anticipation of it, the process of deciding a tea, of getting it together, putting the ingredients together, getting the containers, getting the water to the right, just taking the time to enjoy the making of the beverage. And then I also like the beverage. Added bonus, I enjoy drinking it too.
I mean, that's good.
But it's been a nice little routine. And it doesn't take a ton of time, but it takes enough time out of my day where it puts me in a better positive thinking place. So it's 10 minutes every morning that I'm doing this, and it's been nice. It's been really good.
I'm so glad. I didn't know. I didn't know you were doing that.
Well, we keep these things secret. We don't have to keep them secret.
That's true. I mean,
I can tell you if you want.
But yeah, I think that's amazing because I've mentioned a bajillion times I should just do an episode about it on my channel finally, because I keep saying I'm going to, but like tea as meditation, because like it pulls you into the moment. You're smelling the leaves that you're opening. You're feeling the weight of the hot water as you put it into the pot to boil.
Yeah.
And you're just like really invested in what you're doing right then, and any kind of pitter patter going on in circles in your brain just kind of halts. So I think that's really wonderful. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So how about you this week? What you been doing?
So
For yourself?
For myself, I have been utilizing a skill that I naturally possess, but I had been kind of avoiding it in this particular situation. Let me explain.
Okay.
So I generally like a balance of like, as far as work, we'll call it, goes, creating online content. I do 3 videos a week, including the podcast. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all the things all the time. And I like a balance of planning and organic spontaneity, right? Yeah. But as far as the actual figuring out when to do stuff, planning out my week, I just kind of been all over the place. And I kind of said this to you a few weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I want to treat this because it takes up the time. It takes up more the time.
Definitely more.
Than a full-time job. Yeah. Like I work on this way more than 40 hours a week. Between, like, the filming is the easy part generally, but even just to get to this setup with our mics and the camera and the lights, and well, that takes what? Like half an hour to set up, 15 minutes to take down. Then I got to do all the importing, exporting, sound balancing on the audio tracks, syncing the audio with the video, color correcting, and then the actual editing process, making custom graphics, exporting, social media, blah, 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 blah.
Not to mention all the creative brainstorm.
Exactly. All of the planning that goes into it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Like, this is a job, basically. I mean, I'm not making any income from it at this point, but hopefully in the future we can change that, because who doesn't want to be able to support themselves doing something that they love? I think that would be great. Yeah. But I was like, let me schedule this out like a job. So it's not like, it's Monday. I need my video filmed for tomorrow. La, la, la. And I'm not like freaking out. Right. So I have been planning my, like, a tentative weekly shoot schedule. Nice. And then I communicate that with you. Yeah. So you know what's going on, because like Jacob isn't always there to help me film. But when he is, it's amazing because he can help with the setup and operate the camera, or otherwise, like, I know how to do that stuff by myself. And I think this is important too, right? So like I had the whole week scheduled out, and then we spent 3 days in the hospital, and it was scary and you were in pain. And I was like, you know what? Good thing this is a tentative schedule, because I can just move stuff around. I still got everything out on time that week because I decided on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. to record the podcast for Thursday just by myself sitting on the floor. Yeah. Because I felt really compelled to. We were scheduled to film it 2 days earlier, but it didn't matter. It's been working really well. And I think the important thing to keep in mind with scheduling my weeks like it's a job is to remind myself that it is okay if it changes.
Do you think that it is easier in the midst of a crisis like we had last week to to rearrange a schedule you already have than to schedule things during a crisis.
Than to pull it out of my butt? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So if I'm
That
like,
makes
oh,
sense.
we were supposed to film the podcast the day Jacob went to the ER and then they admitted him, it was like, well, I already have that schedule figured out.
Right. Rather than saying like,
we'll see how long he's in the hospital. I was actually, originally, my plan on moving it was propping up my cell phone inside his hotel room by the window. And
my hotel room.
Your hotel room? Whoa. Your hospital room.
It's a fancy hotel.
It was.
They keep you alive in that hotel.
They keep you alive in that hotel with a comfortable fold-out couch for your guests to sleep on.
Yeah, every now and again they stab me in the arm, but it's fine.
It's fine. They keep you alive, so that is good. But yeah, I was just planning on propping my phone up on the window and recording the podcast. But they ended up sending you home on Wednesday, so I was able to do it at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that plan makes it easier to be flexible. Alrighty, so now it's time for our next segment, Community News. Welcome to Community News. This is the part of the podcast we super love, where you, the listeners, send in good news from your weeks, and then we give you a little shout out, celebrate your awesomeness, and
spread that joy.
Spread that joy. I had an idea for this, Jacob, that I want to run by you.
Okay.
We'll see if it's okay. I love hearing about good things from your weeks, and I think it's just it makes my freaking day, right? And I thought it might be cool that if you have a picture from your week, whether it's when you're experiencing it, the day after, or whatever, if you want to tag me at Miss Mary Lou on Instagram so I can see it as it's going down, and with the hashtag PositiviTeaPodcast so we can find it easily, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And then I can repost your good things in my stories, and maybe I'll ask you for more context. So if you have something really great happening, like if you're visiting with your favorite nephew, if you're finally making that coffee that you got that you've been meaning to do but haven't had time, etc., tag me in your good news.
Yeah.
With hashtag PositiviTeaPodcast.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, TEA, Positivity Podcast at Miss Mary Lou, because it'd be like an influx of little nuggets of goodness that I would then get to see brighten my day, and then I could share with the rest of the community that follows me on Instagram. So I think that'd be really cool.
I love it.
You love it? You like it?
I love it.
Positivity TEA Podcast hashtag.
Yeah, but the hashtag first, but yes.
Oh, the hashtag first. I don't know. I just think it'd be a really cool thing to do. And, it'll probably start kind of small, and then it'd be cool if we were just bombarded with everybody's, happy moments throughout the week.
Yeah, well, it would also be cool if the people could share in each other's, get the same sort of enjoyment that we get from hearing this.
Right,
this news.
exactly.
So,
because we get an influx of positivity community news throughout the week, but it would be cool for you to also get that influx as it comes in during the week. And, it'll brighten my Insta stories even more to be able to share what we get from you. So, yeah. I'm glad you like that idea.
Yeah, that's
okay.
fantastic.
Hashtag Positivity Podcast. Tag me at Miss Mary Lou.
Hashtag.
Your good things on your Insta stories, or if it's in a post as well. If you're doing a regular post, feel free to do that.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on to this week?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, our first bit of good news is actually from Instagram. Okay. This is from Tea For Me Please.
Hello.
Who is a really super successful, she won Tea Blogger of the Year last year.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She found my YouTube channel when I first started and has just been so supportive and wonderful. And she responded to this week's community news poll. Mm-hmm. So, in classic Tea For Me Please fashion, she said she had lots of tea with friends this week.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about earlier, there's something really wonderful and meditative about preparing tea for yourself. But the other side of that is sharing it with people.
Right.
Right? And isn't that just,
I mean, sharing things in general brings people joy, right?
Yeah,
and
I just love sharing it with people.
This is something that you get excited about, and it's cool to be able to share that excitement in a real, physical, tangible sense with people and have an experience with them too. So
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
good for you, because I know I have seen your tea collection. It is extensive.
Yeah.
So, and I know you drink a lot of it on your own all the time. So, getting to share it with people who are awesome, that's awesome. You're awesome. Thank
Love
you
it.
so much
Thanks
for
for
participating
sharing.
this
Yeah.
week. When I saw this pop up, I was like, oh, I gotta get her in here, because, like, shout out to you. Check her out on Instagram.
For sure.
Epic tea blogger.
Thanks for sharing with us, and thanks for sharing with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on over to Facebook. This is from David Trejo,
Hello.
who, fun story. So my show Tea Time with Mary on the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
he keeps this joke going about launching Tea and Tea Time with Mary, where it's like Daredevil, things on fire, like stunts, but also tea. Tea and Tea Time with Mary. So that's for you, David.
It's pretty great.
So pretty great. But anyway, so David said this week,
Fantastic.
he's going to get to see his girl after a week of work for a date. Which, like, you're doing that daily grind.
Yeah.
You're doing the work to make that money, to live the life that you want to live. And then
You deserve that date.
you deserve that date. You deserve that date. You deserve a wonderful woman who makes you happy.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're getting into it today. But yeah, good for you, David.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really awesome. And I know, like, that work week, that daily grind, man, it can wear at you. But having something to look forward to at the end of the week, especially something as cool as going somewhere with your favorite lady friend, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
For sure.
you go tea and tea time with Mary. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. That's just for you, David.
I love it.
And we are staying on Facebook. We're going to Anne Lamont, who said, "Hello, Anne. Love you, ukulele. God, it's you." She just got back from an amazing trip to Costa Rica to learn about using nature's patterns to find sustainable, innovative solutions.
Yes, queen.
Right? I really
Yes.
loved this one because it was like a combination of, I took a vacation to a beautiful place, but not just that, to like learn about this beautiful planet and how to maybe keep it around a little longer.
Yeah, that's sort of taking something that maybe is stereotypically more of a wasteful enterprise and flipping on its head. Mm-hmm. Taking a trip, a vacation like that, where, you know, the single-use things are abundant and such. So
and you're like selflessly using that trip that could have just been a trip to Costa Rica to chill the whole time.
It could have been a trip for you,
which is also good. Like, take care of yourself. Self-care is important.
Not necessarily anything wrong with that, but you're sort of flipping that on its head.
You went
and I
the
love
extra
that.
mile. And I just,
So
I saw
cool.
this one pop up last minute. Jacob saw me scribbling in my notebook just before we were about to start. And I was like, I got to talk about this one. So, Anne, you're a
good one.
rock star. Thank you for looking into that. And hit me up, because I would love to know about some of the stuff that you learned. Because I try to like low impact stuff to, you know, keep us here.
Yeah,
a
try to
little
be
longer.
conscious and think of it. I mean,
I'm always down for new knowledge. I love learning.
I'd love to learn more.
Learning. I love lamp. Okay, so we have a bonus one for you today. And not to hijack the community news, this is from Jacob and I.
Yeah.
You want to tell him?
I feel like you want to tell him a lot. So
Okay.
I'm not going to steal that from you.
Jacob and I are engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a ring. You can kind of see it. It is on my Instagram if you go back a few posts, but I love it. It's based on a Clauda, which I always knew I wanted a Clauda engagement ring in rose gold with Celtic knots and a beautiful Morganite stone, which is in the emerald family, because I always thought I wanted an emerald, and then I found out they came in like a peachy pink color, and I was like, nope, no, I'm done.
It's a
This
very
is
pink ring.
It's a very pink ring.
It's very you, and I love
Yeah,
it.
it's the Irish princess ring I always dreamed about. And like, we do not have a date picked out or anything.
No.
We are going to do as the Swedes do and just savor the hard candy. Just enjoy being engaged for a while. We will eventually pick a date.
Yeah, we don't have
Could
a
be
time
next year,
frame.
could be 5 years from now.
We
but
just have the desire to do it eventually.
yeah,
So.
the desire, like, we're gonna get married. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. But we're just gonna enjoy, instead of using engagement as just a stepping stone to get to married, we're gonna, like, just enjoy it as another stage in our relationship and enjoy each other. And
Yeah.
I have a really pretty ring now. So yeah, we wanted to share that with you. So sorry, no wedding plan talking kind of stuff happening. Just enjoying each other, and yeah, I think you're great.
Well, I think you're great too. That
Yeah.
works out. Podcast high five, which you
Podcast
totally
high five.
can't hear.
Whee! Okay, good job, us.
Good news, everyone! I have good news.
It's good news.
Yeah, this is the segment where we dig up out of the depths of the internet and news sources a good news story. Something that the media reports on that is not depressing, but in fact positive.
All right, Jacob. So what do you have for us this week? I'm excited. I got my tea. I'm ready.
Yeah. This is from the Washington Post. Headline is British doctors may soon write prescriptions for dance, art, and music lessons. So the British Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has said in a statement that he plans to create a national academy which will allow for the medical prescription of artistic activities, physical exercise, community classes, dance, music, that sort of thing. He cited a project in which the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra worked with people who had suffered from a stroke previously and who learned to play instruments, who learned to conduct, who got experience performing with the orchestra, and like most of 90% of them or so said that they, after that experience, felt both physically better and had less dizzy spells, less seizures, they had less anxiety, improved sleep. So this is something that is sort of catching wind in the UK, this idea that that art and music and engaging in the artistic process can actually have real world physical health benefits.
And there's a lot of science behind it too. Like I know multiple people who are music therapists or arts therapists. Like it's science people. You can't argue with science. So I'm really like, this is so stunning and wonderful to hear that they're gonna like make a national program to
it would be
encourage
like
people to help people in using the arts instead of, because like, okay, as someone who is a chronic illness, genetic mutation, nightmare person, because I have so many health problems, having a pill to take, and like certain pills are great and necessary, but I have definitely been extremely over medicated on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
It happens way more than I would like to probably think. But, you know, when you're looking for a solution, you're like, yeah, okay, yes, I'll try it and hopefully it will help. But like, this is such, it's working with your body.
Yes.
And, I love it so much.
There's also, I think, something to be said about the idea of treating yourself in the anticipation and the prevention of ailments as opposed to just treating the ailments when you have them.
Mm-hmm.
So to create a better lifestyle and a better, more rich, full, artistic self, involved self, in the hope of preventing some ailments.
Yeah, and
right?
like here in the United States, obviously the most well-known accepted one is just like exercise in general, right?
Yeah.
I have never been able to be a gym person. I've always been, well, except for that awkward period in middle school, but I've generally been like a very fit person, but I never go to the gym.
Yeah.
It's always been, I do competitive swimming. I have like dance classes are my exercise of choice because it's not like monotonously doing something over and over again in a place with, I mean, like you do that in dance classes too, but it's different because it engages your whole self.
Right.
And it's not just like, let me put Netflix on while I do this thing so that I don't think about what I'm doing. So I just do it. It's like, no, especially in dance, even if you're doing something like really basic ballet bar work, which is like some of my favorite stuff to do. You incorporate your breathing, you incorporate your mind, you settle and you ground your body. And there's so much power in that form of exercise as opposed to just like a treadmill.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to say too, there's an art involved in exercise and exercise science in general.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Well.
I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah, and then there's definitely huge benefits to that stuff as well. But
yeah, because like just for me personally, I've never really been able to have the level of engagement that I want at a gym. So I've always been a
me either
fit person, but because I've always been involved like in dance or something.
And I know also I get more anxious in a setting like a gym than I do in a setting like a dance class or a martial arts class or a fencing class or something where I'm focused on a whole body experience in an artistic genre of things. And
Jacob has his black belt, by the way.
I don't physically have it with me.
Well, you don't have it with you, but yeah, you were a martial artist for a while.
And
in college, we took tap together. You're a good tap dancer.
I was. It's been a long time. But
I'm sure you could pick it up again.
Yeah. But yeah, I just find that when I'm more engaged socially, that I am less anxious about the physical activity. So wouldn't it be so great if a doctor said, this is what you should do to treat this thing too, is say like you should take this class.
Oh yeah.
You know, you should go try painting, take yourself out of that anxiety if that's.
Oh yeah, and for mental health too, we play our instruments all the time. I sing all the time,
just
and
uphill.
It really helps with my mental health, like music in general.
Totally.
Yeah. Outside of the fact that I've been a musician for a long time, but like I picked up the ukulele, I learned that instrument as an adult.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really rewarding. Yeah, so like get involved, do the stuff, and it makes a real difference in people's lives, regardless of wherever you are in your life or your life journey. Everyone can benefit from some form of the arts, I think. For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm an actor, voice actor, musician, dancer person. You know, it's true.
Oh, you're not sponsored by your muse?
I'm not sponsored by my entire life study of art that has been perpetually going since I was a very small child.
No, they don't sponsor. It doesn't pay like that.
No, but it is incredibly rewarding.
Oh, yes. It pays in other ways. Yeah.
So I think that wraps up our podcast for today.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit longer than usual, but we did have a lot to catch up on between the holidays and last week's events and the engagement and stuff. So thanks for hanging out with us this week. It feels so good to be back. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it does feel really good. I'm just constantly in awe of how easy it is to switch my mood when I start doing this kind of stuff. How fast it kicks me to the other side of the spectrum of my mood. So.
Yeah, and like, you know, not just for you listening, but for us doing it. It's like, oh my gosh, we actually get to sit down and talk about these things. And I think that's amazing. And I encourage you, listeners, because we love you, in your lives, talk about the positive stuff. Ask other people about like, is there something really cool that happened to you today, this week? Whatever, or is there a really good like cool positive news article that you heard of? Like talk to people.
Yeah, say it out loud.
You know,
make it a part of the world around you.
Or like, gosh, I've been trying this thing this week where I'm like slowly going through my clothes one thing at a time and donating them, and it just makes me feel so much better. Like say it out loud.
Yes.
And post it on your Instagram stories, #PositiviTeaPodcast at Miss Mary Lou, because we want to see it. I really want to make this like a thing from here on out, I think.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, you want to sign us off with a quote?
I do have a good quote for you today.
Okay.
All right. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Rosa Parks. I really connected with this quote, and I wanted to bring it to the podcast this week.
Yeah.
And Rosa Parks is amazing. Was amazing. What a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it from us, friends. We hope that you have a wonderful week.
Yeah, we'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week on the PositiviTea podcast. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Mary Lou, at PositiviTea, TEA podcast at gmail.com, and we are also on YouTube at the Miss Mary Lou YouTube channel. Wherever you are listening to us, please give us a like, a follow, a share, and leave a nice review. We would appreciate a little bit of positivity in our lives. The logo design is by Hilda Meyer Post. The music is by my co-host, Jacob Kahn. I am your co-host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Thursday.